Thank you guys for having me today. In the interest of time, I like to do walking as we talking, so I will just jump right into my decks. I think that everything will be explainable in there. There was one or two, I think, sorry, two or three pauses where I'll stop sharing my screen. I'll go on to a live demonstration. I'll show you guys some things. I might ask for you guys to do that on your own computer so we can talk about it, come off mic and ask any questions you guys might have, and then we'll have an activity as well. So there's not that many of us. Like Kristen said, we'll cut out any of the embarrassing parts. So please feel free to ask me anything or be engaging. This is for you guys. So without further ado, I will get into it. So this is a little presentation I put together. I titled this workshop, Break Up With Your Boost Button. And that's because a lot of us entrepreneurs, whenever we're on Facebook or Instagram, we are constantly being bombarded with boost posts. Boost this, they send you notifications, they might even send you an email, do you wanna boost this post? And a lot of people have pressed that button and saw 0 results and then said Facebook ads don't work. And so I want to teach you guys the correct way to work the system, because you guys might also see other people and get other ads on how these people made $30,000 a month on Facebook and this and that, and then you do what they did and you get nothing. Some of those people are not being honest, but a little of that is just due to incorrect ad running. So before we get into it, I am Angelou, like I said before. Here's a little bit about me. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a growth specialist for business. I'm an advertiser. I'm a coach. I'm a student. I'm an answer seeker. I'm a tester. I'm often confused, slightly frustrated, and I am literally always tired. And so some of those things are silly, some of those things are serious, but I included a lot of those in there just to let you know that no matter how good you get at running ads, which we'll talk about today, some of these things literally don't go away. They have me here as an ad expert and a business coach. And as much as that, I'm still a student all the time. I'm still learning Facebook Business Manager all the time. I'm still often confused and frustrated when I'm running my ads, and I am always seeking out answers. And when I say that I'm a tester, I mean that sometimes as an advertiser, you have to run your ads and not know the answer. You have to run your ads and see what's going to happen and see if this works. I want to run ads to this audience and see if that works. I want to run the same ad to 2 different groups of people and see what works better. And I know that sounds like wasting money to a lot of us small business owners, but I promise you, the more that you test, the better you'll be able to get performance on your ads. So remember that you are your own guinea pig, and don't ever forget that. Hopping into the meat and potatoes of today, we're going to be talking about Facebook ads. And before I move on, I do want to say that when I say Facebook ads, and a lot of other people in the industry, they mean any ads or sponsored posts run on Facebook or Instagram. A lot of people will just say Facebook ads blanketed, and then some businesses get upset because they say, oh, I'm not on Facebook, I'm only on Instagram. Because Instagram is owned by Facebook, all of the ad manager platforms are within Facebook Business Manager. So you'll hear the word Facebook ads used across the board. That means any ad, sponsored post, or anything like that. What we're going to go over today are a couple of things. We're going to go over why you should rarely or never be using the boost or promote button to sponsor or run ads for your Facebook and Instagram posts. We're going to talk about how to unlock all of the advertising options available using Facebook Ad Manager. And then we're also going to learn how to choose the best option to give your sponsored post the best chance for success. A couple of common mistakes. Some of us might have run into these. I have run into every single one of these, so don't feel bad if you have. Would be pressing the boost button. You guys might all see this right here under a lot of your Facebook posts if you have a business account or on Instagram, and it'll just tell you all the time your post is doing so good, you want to promote it, you do. This is a mistake. We'll go over why in a second. Another common mistake is spending too much money too fast. You say, I want to spend $100 because I want to make 100 sales without really scaling, or like we talked about earlier, testing first. And then a big common mistake is running ads under the wrong objective. And so we'll get into that mostly today. And so probably a lot of people are asking in their heads, what's so bad about the boost button? Also, why does it not work? Well, a few things we need to go over first is the Facebook and Instagram algorithm. I don't have the answers to the black box. I don't know exactly how it works. The best is people can test and guess. And so what people are seeing and what a lot of us might see on our business accounts is when you when you post a post on your story, sorry, on your feed, it will show your post to about 10 to 20% of your most dedicated followers, people who engage the most, people who they know are going to like your post. Depending on how well it does, it might show that post to 20% of people, and then 30% of people, and then 40, 50, 60. They never show your post to everyone who follows you, and it's always going to be dependent on how the first audience reacted. If you post something and your core group of followers don't react to it, Instagram is not going to show it to people who rarely react to you. But if everyone who reacts all the time love it, they might show it to some more people and more people. Well, they created that problem, and then they created a fix to that problem, which is the boost post button, which will be a way to get around some of those gates. Originally, when you press boost post, you could pay to show it to more people who already follow you or who already have interacted with your brand. There's a big problem with that because it doesn't really allow you to show your content to cold audiences or retargeted audiences, which is where your top and bottom of your funnel are. And so if you're not really hitting people at the important key points, you're just boosting your post to an audience that hasn't really been warmed up yet and who may not be ready to convert. So the first thing we'll talk about today is Facebook Business Manager. A lot of people who are new to advertising have never even seen this website. And so you might want to save this into your favorites. It's business.facebook.com. And so we'll take a little bit of a break and we will head over there ourselves. And I will ask that everyone take a second right now and go to business.facebook.com. Put a red light on if you don't even have a Facebook at all, or if you're not able to log in. You should be able to log in with your regular Facebook credentials. You don't need a different password or anything like that. If your business account is connected to your Facebook, you can log in. If you don't have any way of logging in today, I will be able to share screen and walk you guys around. But if everyone can log in and do that, and then if you can give me a thumbs up on your screen when you have logged in. If you click reactions on the bottom of your Zoom, you can put a thumbs up there. That way you don't have to hold your thumbs up while everyone's. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and then I want you guys to just be, we're gonna have a little bit of a conversation about some differences we might be seeing. Sorry, my screen is probably. Now, is everyone seeing a screen that looks like this, or do some people see a black screen that says Facebook Business Suite? So this is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. This is a little bit of those frustrations I was talking to you guys about in my initial slide. Facebook is also, they're also testers just like us. They're also advertisers just like us. They are selling us and advertising this platform. And one thing they always do is they are always changing Facebook Business Manager. And although it makes it hard for me to do workshops like this, it's something that's really important because as advertisers, someday you might log into your Facebook and it might look completely different. And you might not know where your tools are. You might not be able to run your ads. It may really affect your business. And so they do these things without telling us. Some people, like we see right now, some people, you could be brand new, you could be on Business Suite. Some people could be on Business Manager like myself. And so it's always good for you to try to stay up to date with what Facebook is doing. They're also one of your clients the same way that you are your own client. So make sure that you're always up to date with Facebook. Now, if you are on Facebook, or sorry, Meta Business Suite, on the bottom down here somewhere, you should see a button that says give feedback. Gigi and Max, I think you guys both were there. Do you see that button that says give feedback somewhere down here in the bottom left-hand corner? Click that button, and then something should pop up that says go back to Facebook Business Manager. they used to not make you, but now they make you tell them why you want to go back over. So just put anything into that box and then submit it, and then your screen should look very similar to mine after that. It is different for the ads manager that we're going to go over today. There are a little bit of different settings, and I do have all of mine. You may be able to add them if you go into business settings here.
Oh, okay.
And then you can click around in there. If it's asking you to create an account today, I'm just going to ask that you follow along with me. We're only in a small portion of this first live demo right now. The second live demo, you won't need to actually do anything. If it's asking you to create an account, it means you might not have admin access to the business yet. Some of these companies are my own. Some of them I've been added to. So maybe you just haven't been added to the permissions yet, and we can go over that offline as well. Now, a couple of things while we're in here, you don't have to click around if you don't want to, but I will show you around. So if you click this all tools here, you will have pretty much everything you need at the top of this dashboard. Ads Manager is where we will mostly be working out of today. This is the thing that you will need the most. I know it gets a little overwhelming for people sometimes when you see all of these millions of options and it feels like, what am I supposed to do with all of these things? Well, I'm gonna let you know, most of the time I come in here, I don't click a single thing other than Ads Manager. It's the one tool that I use the most. The other thing that you might need, where we saw earlier, is down here in this corner, left-hand corner, business settings. This is really important when you're first getting set up. In the business settings is where you will add people to your business, where you might, right here, if you go to accounts, you might need to be added to a page as the admin. You can see my name here as the admin to this page. If you work for another company, they may need to add you to the admin, or you may need to add someone who's working on ads for you, or if you have multiple Facebooks. If you don't have an ad account yet, which some people say, maybe you have a business page, but you have never ran ads yet, you might need to make an ad account before you can go there. And so the ad account here, you would go to add, and then you would go to add account. It's a couple easy steps. And then you would add the account there, and you would add the people who can manage the account, which again are very easy steps. It walks you right through it. And then again, when I'm logged into my personal Facebook, now I can run ads for this brand. And some people in this chat, in this workshop may not have that part yet. Maybe like Bianca said earlier, you might be listed as an admin, but maybe you don't have access to run the ad account. You kind of need to be in all of these things. Another good thing to set up inside of this settings, if you're not already set up yet, is the Instagram accounts. You want to make sure that your Instagram account is connected here so that you can seamlessly run ads on Facebook and Instagram. And sometimes it might be set up on your business settings, on your other page, and on Facebook. I will always check in Facebook Business Manager, because sometimes things that happen on Facebook do not translate to what happens on Business Manager. And so always, again, very easy to add more people if you need to make sure that this person can run ads and run stuff on this Instagram account, and the Instagram account should be associated with your business. It will make you log in to your Instagram account from Business Manager the first time you connect them. There is a slight hiccup with pop-up blockers. So if it's not working, you maybe have to disable your pop-ups. I've seen it get stuck a few times, so just know that that could be an error. But the first couple things you're going to want to do if you're brand new to Business Manager and to running ads, some people may have some of these things set up. Some of them may have none of them set up. It would be pages, to make sure that your business page is correct here, that this page matches the page that you are doing. If it doesn't, then you want to go here. You want to follow the steps to add a page if you own the business, or request access to the page if you don't own the business, if it's not connected to your Facebook. And then you want to make sure that you add yourself as an admin as well. That will be the first step to doing that. The second thing you want to do is make sure there's an ad account in here. And so you want to make sure that if you don't have any numbers here at all, you want to press add, follow the steps to add an ad account. It'll walk you through it. And then again, add yourself as a person who has all permissions to full control to manage this ad account once you select yourself. This is where you would add the business page that your business is on Facebook. So my business is called My Account Baby. This
I got that.
At that page. When you go to add accounts,
Yeah.
It's going to be a number. This is going to be a word. So then you want to make an ad account for this business, and you'll just press this and you'll go through these steps here. It'll be maybe like a 5-minute process. And then again, add yourself full access all the time. I would make different accounts because you want it all to go back to those individual pages, because I'm assuming they're all going to be different branding, they're all going to be different stuff, and then you want to be able to create audiences for each brand. If you create all of your audiences under one ad account, it's going to get really confusing for you to figure out, do I want to select this the retarget which Facebook to retarget which that. It could lead to mistakes, and then it could lead to tricky numbering for you. I have run into that issue, Max. There is a lot of touch and go with Facebook because they try to automate a lot of things. A personal anecdote of mine is, you can see this company is called My Proud Baby. I own it. I sell baby products targeted to African American moms. I was running obviously a lot of ads that say that we're Black owned, we feature Black characters, things like that. Nothing offensive. It's a baby brand, but because of the election, Facebook had put a lot of sensitive words around their ads, and my ad account got disabled because they thought I was posting maybe like Black Lives Matter things or things that Facebook don't allow to post. But just because I was saying things like my brand was Black owned and we are trying to increase representation and we are, minority led, kind of some of those things triggered them. And it did take me about a month to get my Facebook out of suspension. I've had other people who I always tell people, if you post questionable stuff on your personal Facebook and it's connected to your business account, that could be reason for them to disable you from running ads as well. So then questionable is not my taste, it's Facebook's taste. If they think that if a lot of your posts get disabled, or if you end up in Facebook jail, a lot, what people call it, they might disable you from running ads. And so if you do have that, I'm not saying don't post that. You're free to post whatever you want, but maybe you want to have a separate Facebook account that's only for running ads, because it is very easy, like Max is saying, to get your account suspended, disabled, or in quality control. And it's really hard to get it out once it is. If you guys do ever have any issues like that, it's inside of this 3 bars, or it's called a hamburger as well. If you go to account quality, this is where you always want to check if you think there's something wrong with your account, or if it's in suspension, or if you want to submit an appeal. Sometimes they say I have questionable words in my ads. I definitely don't. I submit an appeal and then it will say yes. Right now, you can see I'm also not running any ads in this account. So I don't have any ads in rejection, but if they were, they would be right here. But you can see in the past, I've had 5 ads that were rejected for I have 5 products that are rejected from Facebook right now. And I've had ads in the past come down. And so you can always come in here. You can click on account issues, Facebook overview. This is probably one of the first places you want to troubleshoot if Facebook disabled your ad account. If you broke it yourself, it's not going to be in here. But if Facebook disabled you from running ads, you might be able to fix it yourself sometimes, honestly, by just clicking around inside account quality and submitting an appeal, or saying I agree to not do that anymore, or actually even disabling the ad that's causing trouble. And never be afraid to do that. Even if your ad, you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, if Facebook is saying there's something wrong with your ad, turn it off. It's not worth your stress and your fight to fight the computer, because it's really hard to get a real person over there. So probably just disable it, make a small tweak to it, test it, and put it back into the flow. It's going to save yourself a lot of time than trying to tell them and prove to them what it is. Change the copy up a little bit, be a little, use your brain. I was able to think, oh, they think that I'm part of some election nearing. So let me stay away from some of these trigger words and maybe focus on, hey, these blankets help your baby sleep better. Not mention any of the minority stuff, not mention any of my other keywords right now until I can see that these ads aren't getting disabled anymore. And then things like that might help. If you are, I think I have some people in here who are the notary, that could get into tax a little bit. And there's a nonprofit in here as well that might also get into tax sometimes. If you run into special categories, Facebook requires you to identify yourself. It's really easy. Just make sure that you select that you run special category ads, which if you're in the tax, I would look into that on Facebook and see if they require you to do that. And all you have to do is verify yourself with your ID, and then you'll be able to run ads again. Some people get really scared by running in a special category, but Facebook just wants to have a more identifiable person of the person who's running a special ad, which could be about elections, which could be about politics, which can be about tax. It could be about anything they feel like is going to sway public opinion, too much. They might call it a special category. And so if you do fall into a special category or your ads get disabled for being in a special category, the easy way to fix that is by identifying yourself. There's a couple ways. You'll see it in here in account quality when it wants you to go into special quality, a special category. I don't have that right now because I'm not in a special category. So I can't show you guys how to do it, but they ask you to upload a copy of your ID, and that's pretty much it. So it's in the tools. So it's in this little hamburger up here, and then it's account quality for every, again, I know everyone's page look exactly like mine. Some people's account quality might be down here, or it might be up here at the top. They change things all the time. So so you can add my ad account to your business manager and run ads from it if I gave you that number and then I gave you permission. And the last thing I do want to get around is something that might be a bigger question for you, Max. You can see here, I have my personal account down here. This is my personal Facebook. If I click this, I have multiple businesses linked to this that I have permission to, and I can run ads from this account. And you might see there's a bunch of ads that I've run in the past from this account when things like my main account is down, something like that. I try to avoid doing this for things like I told you, Max. It gets confusing for me. You can see I have multiple businesses in here under the same account. They're all under my name. And so I would recommend separating them out and not using any ad account that's connected to your personal Facebook, but connected to a brand or business page. You might see a section in your ad manager. I have this turned on for all my personal ads because Facebook does bill irregularly. You might feel like you haven't gotten charged, and then randomly you'll get charged like $500 if you don't monitor your ads appropriately. So I a lot of times I have spend limits on my ad accounts, so that way I kind of know I have this one at $250. And so every time it gets to $250, it will turn all my ads off. It'll pause all my ads. And then I either have to press reset or I can go in and I can change it, and I can put a new spend limit in. And if I say, oh, I want it to be higher or lower, this really protects new advertisers from making costly mistakes. If you put this thing at $100, you might not know how long it takes you to spend $100 on your ad account. It could be one day for some people. It could be 1 week for some people. So if you have a fear, or in the past you found you spent more money than you would have liked to on your ad manager, inside of your business settings, you will find under billing, you will find area to put your spend limit. And I would recommend putting a spend limit there, so that way you can monitor yourself a little better. And then it's going to be in a similar place where you put in your payment information under my personal account. And so under here, you will add it. And then when you put in, I use PayPal to pay for my ads. Right underneath there, it would ask you to put in a spend limit, and then you can put it in $100, $250, maybe put it at whatever you think you want your weekly budget to be, or something like that. Don't put it at your max, because then you might not have any wiggle room. And then that's a way you can monitor yourself to make sure that you don't spend too much money. I made the mistake all the time of not really monitoring my ads, getting too busy, and then being like, oh, I was supposed to turn that one off. Or it's also a good reminder for me before I turn my ads back on to check them. What are they doing well? Is it performing well? Is it not performing well? Before I just click it back on, sometimes we get too busy to check and see if the ads are performing or not. And then we might see that something should have been turned, it's good as turned off because it wasn't really converting or getting the clicks we need. So we went to the live demo already. And before we get out of here today, I do want to make sure I go over all of the ad objectives with you guys. When you first start running an ad, the first thing a lot of us are going to see is this box right here. And it says select an ad objective. If you've ever boosted a post on Instagram or Facebook before, you might have never seen this box, or it might only have 2 or 3 of these options. This is why I highly recommend Facebook Business Manager to run your ads, because you have a lot more targeting options, and Facebook knows a lot, gives you a lot more control over delivery of your ads. And you can see here, you can select what you want people to do when they see your ads. And you can think of your objectives as the mission for your ads. You can see that Facebook does a pretty decent job of breaking these up. If you've ever gone through the customer journey or a conversion funnel, you might recognize these titles: awareness, consideration, conversion. This is a basic customer journey for a lot of businesses. And so the reason why Boost is so ineffective sometimes is you can't really target people where they are. Sometimes you are running ads because you want people to follow you. And so you want to be running those ads under awareness. But if you're running conversions under and you're saying, follow me, Facebook is going to send your ad to people who it thinks want to buy things. Or the opposite. If you're running, something on traffic, but what you really want is video views, then Facebook is going to show your ad to the wrong person. And so running an ad manager is the first step to making sure the right people see your ads. We're going to go through these so that you guys can have an understanding of how some of them work. The first one that you'll see is brand awareness. And brand awareness helps people discover your brand and become familiar with your products. And so this is something that you might run for no real call to action. And I know some people, that makes people scary. I want people to buy things all the time. But you can see here, I just ran this ad with my mission statement. And then it's just a way of letting my cold audience know who we are. I run this ads to people who haven't interacted with my brand before, who maybe have never heard maybe never heard of us. And so this is a good way for me to do that. And Facebook is going to make sure it shows this to people who have shown Facebook that they're new, they follow new brands, they like to be alerted to things. Brand awareness is not good to run if you're looking for conversion. Even if you're trying to convert to a cold audience, I would never run a conversion-based ad on brand awareness. This learn more button also is probably going to go to my Facebook page instead of my website. Another awareness is reach. An ad shown under reach are going to show your ad to as many people as possible within your selected audience. And so this one is really important. When you use reach, don't use reach if you have a gigantic audience. When you're making your ads on Facebook, it'll tell you how large your audience is. Some people think the bigger, the better. But if you use reach, it's going to maybe show it to people one time. It's going to be really expensive to show your ad to as many people as possible if your audience is 5 million versus if your audience is 5,000. And so you can see here, the Westfield and Topanga Village, they probably have a really small audience. They probably showed this ad to everyone who lives within 5 miles of Topanga Village. Well, that's a great objective to run reach under because it's going to try to show it to everyone. And it's a smaller audience than 5 million. And so remember, if you're using reach, you want to use reach for small audiences, maybe like geographical, or if it's a retargeting ad. Now, under consideration, these are people who might be a little bit more familiar with your brand. They might be a warmer audience. Traffic is the most popular ad on Facebook. So traffic is when you want people to go to your website. You select this objective, your ads will work to drive traffic to your website or your landing page. Use this to move people from Facebook and Instagram into your custom audiences into your website funnel. So if you're having a lot of people on Facebook, you get a lot of engagement, or you have a lot of followers, or you have a really active audience, but you want to get them over to your Facebook, your website. Maybe you want to try emailing them. Maybe you want more web traffic. Maybe you want sales. This is a great objective for that. And this is an ad I ran for my brand. It's a blog that I wrote that is 10 Black-owned brands to shop. And then you can see that through this ad, I have over 4,500 page visits. Sorry, over 4,500 page visits. You can see here, I have a couple of shares, I have comments, but this was not my objective on this. What I wanted was people to come to my website to learn about this, and then I could retarget them later with conversion-based ads. And it worked out well for me. Now, this is one that's a little bit opposite. An engagement ad is you run this when you want people to engage with your post on the app. You don't really want them to go anywhere. They have the option still. You can see learn more. That takes them to my website. But what I want more is likes, comments, saves, shares. And I want to make this post hopefully go viral a little bit. And so that's the opposite of traffic. Traffic is to get people off of Facebook and Instagram. Engagement is to keep them on there. And then you can see on a similar budget of my last one, I have on this post, I have over 10,000 post reactions. I have 800 shares here. I have over 100 comments towards the end. And I had 654 saves of this post on Facebook. And so that is a lot different than on my last post. Sorry, my screen is cut off a little bit here, so I can't see the bottom. There it is. But there it is. I have 265 link clicks. And that you can see versus my last here, I had over 4,500 link clicks, but only 391 shares. These posts I ran on very similar budgets, but that's the difference an objective can make. If I wanted people to go to my website with this post, I would have lost money because I would have only got 265 people to go over. But what I wanted was the engagements, because now I have 12,000 people that I can retarget, people that I know thinks this is funny. I know they probably are brand owners. They can relate to this kind of post. And then again, I can retarget them later. Let's go through a couple more. App download. Only use this objective if you are driving traffic to an app. If you are not trying to get people to download an app, don't use this objective. If you are trying to get people to download an app, you might see them a lot. You see Uber ads, download to do food ads, maybe even gaming ads a lot. We see those on social media. That's the only reason you should be using this objective. If not, you will 100% waste your money. Video views. Use this objective to increase views on a video. Sorry, my screen. Okay. You want to use this objective towards the top of your funnel, towards when you're just letting people know about your brand. And then what you can do later is you can retarget people who watch this video. And a lot of us, that happens to us all the time. We feel like we're being stalked on social media, or how do they know what we're doing? Well, you probably watch 15 seconds or 5 seconds or 25% of a video. And then from there, they can retarget you and sell you more products. This is a great way to gain and see who's interested. With short attention spans of consumers nowadays, people are not able to pay attention to things they don't want to. So if someone watches 30 seconds of your video, you know they're interested in your brand and what you have to say. They're a good person to spend more money on for future ads. If someone only watched 1 second of your video, you know they're probably not interested in what you have to say, and you don't want to show them the next ad, which may be more expensive. It may be conversion based. So video views are a great way to test out your audiences and then send more ads to them again once they've watched a certain part of your video, which actually is really easy in Facebook Business Manager. I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Lead generation probably is going to be good for the person who said they were a notary, and for the person in here who said they were into business coaching. This is going to be good for maybe the nonprofit, anywhere where your business is going to be collecting leads and getting people's information. This is a great one because it's the only objective on here that will let people click this button here, and then a form will pop up within Facebook or Instagram, and they can fill it out and it will go to you. This is great because it eliminates one step for a lot of your consumers. A lot of people, they don't like to have to click a button, then go to your website, then go to another page, and then go to another page and to get a quote. They might want to just be on Facebook, scroll, press a button to get a quote. Well, this button will let you pop up a lead that they can fill out their first name, last name, email, contact, and then you can follow up with them later. This, I would not use this if you have not already run an ad to that same person. So maybe on a retargeted ad, it's going to be a lot less expensive for you to do that if they've already seen some of your other ads, or maybe if you run this ad to people who follow you or people who already like your page, because then you've already gotten enough trust. Remember, asking people for their personal information as a brand is a bit of a trust engagement. And so you want to build that trust a little bit before you run lead generation ads. Otherwise, the people who are going to fill it out are not going to be qualified. They're going to be really randos, and they're going to be people who just want to get random prices. But if you run lead generation ads to people who are already familiar with your brand, they've already trusted you, they already feel like they would buy from you, it'll be a lot cheaper for you per lead to get people to click this button. If you don't collect leads from your business, if you're e-com, or if you just sell stuff, or if you just promote events, I would not run lead generation ads. Messages. This is an ad you can run if you want people to be able to click this and then send your business a message. This works best if you have a chat robot or a Facebook auto response in your messenger, because then you don't have to be up all the time responding to people. You don't really have a lot of control over when people was going to click this button and what you're going to be doing. And so if some people click the button and you respond within 5 seconds, and some people click the button and you respond within 5 hours, it's going to be hard for you to gauge if the ad is working because you're not being consistent. And so it's going to be hard to measure success against that. And so the best thing to do is to have some sort of auto response where you can say, hey, maybe if you run in real estate, I saw that in here today, you can say, hey, I have an open house, type more information, and if you want to see the showing, it might be a picture of your house. Maybe they'll click this, type more info, and then your autoresponder says, here's the address for my next showing, press yes if you want to set up a viewing. And then from there, you can take over. But at least everyone got a message immediately once they sent this button. If you are not willing to be responding to messages in your messenger all the time, don't run ads under messages. Maybe run ads under traffic and then have a form collection on your website. That's a good way to get around that as well, because people don't expect emails asked instantaneously, or you might have other email systems that can auto trigger and email people once they fill it out. So really only run this under messages if you are able to connect an either Facebook auto response or a chat robot. And if you are interested, the one that I use is called Mini Chat, MANY Chat. It is technical to use, so if you don't have the ability to use that, don't even bother using it. The only thing that they allow you to connect the messages to right now is WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger. And that's because Facebook owns those products. Right now, they don't allow it to connect to a platform outside of that. But if you did use the traffic objective, you might be able to put the landing page into something that would feed them into another chat system. Conversions, we're moving down the funnel now. Conversions are everyone's favorite Facebook objective, and it's the one that you might want to avoid a little bit. And so this is a popular ad objective. This objective focuses on getting people to purchase products from your website to convert. When using this objective, be sure to select an audience that is from your website pixel and not a cold audience. And so I might be speaking gibberish to you on that part. I apologize. I'm not sure if we have time to go into pixels today, but I can go into it with you guys later. But the conversion is going to be the most expensive ads on Facebook. And if you think about that, it's because Facebook needs to work really hard to know which people are likely to buy something. It's a lot more triggers. It's a lot thicker of an algorithm to figure out which person is going to buy something. It's a lot easier to figure out who's going to click something, or who's going to like something, or who's going to type a comment, because they know your actions every day. But they just say, like, who can I show this to? And they buy it. That's a little bit more expensive. So make sure that what time if you're running ads under conversions, it's to a warm audience. It's to people who maybe have clicked on your other ads before, they have maybe gone to your website, maybe they left you their information in the lead, maybe, you know, all of these are things that you can build audiences around. You never want to run a conversion ad if you're a newbie to a cold audience. Now, if you have a large budget, you have thousands of dollars, then maybe you can run conversions ad to a cold audience and a warm audience and see which works better and converts better. But if you are on a limited budget, like a lot of us are, then you might want to wait off on conversion ads until you have audiences that have been warmed up and ready. And some people only run conversion ads on bounce traffic. You can make it so everyone who came to your website but didn't buy anything, or maybe people who added to cart, those are good people to run conversions to because they added to cart, but they didn't buy anything. And so you know they're a little bit warmer and they might be able to be served these ads. There is an option you can build, and we're not going to be able to get into audiences today, but I will definitely come back if invited to go over audiences with you guys. But there's a way that you can build a lookalike audience from people that came from your website, but there are also ways for you to build an audience. And I would recommend having both, Max. So that way you have an audience of people who came to your website and an audience, and you can send ads to people who are just targeted off your head, you know, because maybe you might be testing, maybe you might have a better idea, or maybe you are still building your website traffic. So maybe right now, everyone who comes to your website is kind of all over the place. You haven't really nailed down how to get consistent qualified traffic. And so your pixel lookalike is going to be all over the place. Maybe someone said they're in real estate, so I'll use that example. Maybe if you just put your website out, people from all over the city are going to be looking at your website. People in Downey, people in Long Beach, people in Fullerton, people in Santa Clarita. But then maybe as you grow your business, just people in Thousand Oaks are looking at your website. And so then if you look at those two different pixels, that first pixel, the lookalike, is going to be everyone in Los Angeles. And that second pixel, once you've gotten your traffic better, is going to be just people in Thousand Oaks. So you really do, in the beginning, need to tell Facebook. In the beginning, when you're getting all that random traffic, maybe you limit your location to just Thousand Oaks, because you can't trust Facebook to know just yet that your traffic is limited to there because it's so wide. Right now, for this baby brand, I get all kinds of baby people who come there because it's such a random name, My Proud Baby. But the more I drive qualified traffic, the better it can do. So I do still build a lot of my audiences from scratch, and I do a lot of retargeting audiences so that I can help Facebook figure that information out. And with the new iOS 14, a lot of people can block information. So Facebook is getting less information than ever to run ads on. If you press that button, which they say more than 80% of people press do not share my information on the new iPhone, well, then that information that's being shared are the other websites you go to. If you click this and go to my website, all that information I'm losing now. So it makes it a little harder for Facebook to exactly know who's visiting where. And that's the big issue between Apple and Facebook because of that. Catalog sales. This one is almost the same as conversions, except a lot of you might notice that you can have a store on Facebook and you can have a store on Instagram now as well. They're really promoting having stores on their own platforms, and you can even check out from Facebook. So if you do have a store, you have your store fully set up where you can check out and it integrates with your website, then you can run conversion ads to that online catalog under catalog sales. But remember, this is always going to point to your Facebook or Instagram store, not to your website store. That's the difference between conversion and catalogs. Are the products on your website or are the products on Facebook? If you have a large audience on Facebook that has shown to buy stuff right on Facebook, you might be better off running catalog sales. But if you don't have a large audience who has bought stuff through your Facebook or directly on Instagram, then you might be better off with conversion or honestly traffic ads. The last one's going to be store traffic. Store traffic is if you are driving traffic to a physical location. And that's the one that's a little tricky because a lot of people call of our stores store traffic for my online store. It's a store. But this is going to be if you want people to go to a physical location. The caveat around this is if you're doing a pop-up. So if you're doing a pop-up, like you're setting up outside somewhere, or you want to maybe your business is doing a installation or virtual event or something like that, this will work. Facebook sadly monitors where we go on our phones with our location. And so they know people who are likely to shop at a physical location. Facebook knows if you go to Target a lot or if you shop on Target.com a lot. And they know if you are likely to go visit the mall, if you're likely to go visit the movie theater. They honestly do know that about you. And so we can use that as business owners to do that. So if you have a physical location, or if you're going to be in a temporary physical location, you can run sponsored ads about that event under store traffic. But if you're trying to drive online store traffic, avoid this one. And we had a question or an activity, but we'll skip that for now. But I will, let's go down here. I will show you guys this, and then I'll take any further questions. This is something that I put together that can show how you can run ads together, multiple ads together to create kind of an ecosystem for your brand. And so let's say we start off with the launch. The first thing you might want to do is you might want to run some ads under brand awareness. And so you might want to use the brand awareness objective to let the audience know about your new product, your new brand, your new service. You might want to start just getting some attention about that. After that, you might run an engagement ad, and you might use an engagement ad to drive likes, comments, shares on a post that talks about the need for your product. And so that's an important part, the need for your product, and maybe not about your product exactly. You guys saw my engagement post was about the frustration of people saying it's easy to run a business. And then my business is saying, hey, I can help you run your business. And so that engagement post was not really about me. It was about my audience and their frustration. So maybe, how hard it is to find a house, maybe about something, don't you hate having to try to fix things yourself if you're into an engineer? Anything like that that can get engagement, that can get people talking, liking, and sharing your post is great to run early on because you can retarget this traffic. Another option or a similar option would be to run a video views right after you run your brand awareness. And you can show a video that explains the benefits of your products to an audience of people who've engaged with one or both of these ads. If someone thought your ad over here talking about the need for your product was nice, well, guess what? If the next day or even an hour later, they see a video about how your brand could fix something they were just laughing about, they're probably going to be more likely to watch it. And then the people who watch this relate to this or they relate to that because they're made up of an audience of people who've been in these two categories. If you're moving down the funnel, after you've done those things, you now might run a conversion ad. And on this conversion ad, you might choose to show this to people who watch at least half of your video. Why? Because if they watch half the video, they watch the video, they have a pain point your business can fix, and they've engaged with it. They've told you by liking, commenting, and sharing, and they maybe have already seen your brand and been aware of it. Those are perfect people to send a conversion to. Hey, wouldn't you like to sign up for my workshop? Hey, wouldn't you like to, come meet me for a consultation? Hey, wouldn't you like to come to my open house? These people, after they've watched your video, and your video can just be you talking to a screen. It can be a video montage of your customers. It can be anything that helps people understand how your brand helps fix this problem or how your brand relates to what you told them about up here. And now they're ready for you to send them this conversion ad. And then after that, maybe they don't convert, maybe they do convert. You might want to run a traffic ad down here, and you might want to show an ad pushing traffic on your website to people who previously added something to their cart. So maybe they added to their cart, but they didn't convert. And now you want to show them ads about the thing they bought. Anyone who shops online like me has definitely gotten that before. You add something to your cart and now it won't go away. It's in your banner, it's on your social media, it's everywhere. You can take advantage of that for your customers as well. They can add things to their cart, they can schedule a consultation, and then you could just bug them every so often with slight nudges. Hey, here's that thing you wanted to buy. Hey, here's that. Or maybe you tell them, hey, that thing you wanted to buy is now on sale. Hey, that thing you wanted to buy is now even better because I'm adding on a bundle, and you're showing that to people who have shown they're highly, highly likely to buy something from you. And so I know that we went over a lot of things today, and there's a million more things that we can go over, but I will let you guys know a couple things. Skip ahead. I would like to say, of course, thank you guys for joining me today, and that I do have a book that goes over a lot of this stuff, plus stuff we didn't go over, and has a couple of tools to help you retarget things. I sell this book for $10 all the time. I'll give you guys the book for $5 if you use the code BOOST, and I will drop the link to the book in the website. I'm sorry, I will drop the link to the book into the chat for you guys. And then the last thing, of course, my business is called Jacker Digital. My name is Angelou Masters. You can find me all over the internet at jackerdigital.com or jackerdigital.com. I do 1 hour consultations for free for all new business owners. If you have like to talk to me about Facebook Business Manager or anything else, website design, advertising, or social media, hit me up. I will be happy to help you guys. And I don't think this will be the last time I see you guys here at Help 101. For the engagement, if you don't have a big audience of your own users, you don't have a big social following, then that's when you might use a cold audience. I used a cold audience on that engagement when you saw with all those shares. And I used it for this brand, Jacker Digital. And what I did was I selected anyone who's an admin of a business page. And so that's a pretty large audience for Facebook, but at least I know you're highly likely to be a business owner. It's really hard to say people who are business owners because a lot of it is interest-based. So that was a large audience. And so if you don't have a big enough audience that you feel like from your own people, maybe people who came to your website, it's low traffic, your followers are a low amount, and your engagement is low in your previous posts, then you might want to test out using colder audiences. For my personal preference, I don't like using audiences over 1 million. I use audiences less than 1 million because I don't have a budget for over 1 million audiences. And if your audience is over 1 million, that means it's probably not niche enough. And when I first started, I was always thinking the larger the audience, the better. But really, out of 1 million people, I probably only need like 10 sales per day myself to feel like, oh, I had a great day. And so why am I going after 1 million? I can get 10 sales a day from 50,000 audience. And maybe that audience is more likely to be really niche down and really core to my thing. If I'm running ads for one of my clients, they're regional based, my audiences are small. They're sometimes less than 3,000 or 4,000 because they might just be running ads in North Hollywood. And so North Hollywood to women who are 24 to 34, but they have a nail salon there. And so that is really their audience. And if the audience is only 3,000 people, but they're getting, a couple of appointments a day off of that, it's really converting high for them. So it really will depend on the situation. Sometimes you need a large one, sometimes you need a small audience. But if you are interested in a large audience and you don't have it from your own content, create one. Create one from the behaviors, from the locations, and from things like that. Oh, so when I go to code, I run brand awareness to cold audiences. I don't run reach to cold audiences. I personally don't run a lot of reach ads. That's not an objective that I run a lot or that I run for my people I run ads for. But you could run reach to a cold audience if you did it regionally. I would recommend that. Reach is also good for retargeting. So because your retargeting audience may be you may want to show it to everyone as possible. So like if I did a video views, and then I may run a follow-up retargeting ad under reach to everyone who watched the video, because I want to reach as many people in that small audience as possible. That would be how I personally would run a reach ad. I wouldn't run reach to a wide cold audience. I would run reach to an audience that was either retargeted or maybe regional based. I run cold audience under traffic as well. I like to test it to see if I can, what kind of people I'm driving to my website. You know, your cold audiences are always going to be at the top of your funnel because you kind of want to fill people in. So you're going to put people under brand awareness. They say reach. I'm going to say probably no under reach, but maybe traffic as well. Kind of some of those first touch points is where you want to use your cold audience. You don't want to use your cold audience if you have a tight budget at the bottom of your funnel, because you're just going to be guessing and hoping that people who've never really heard of you are going to convert on that first time of hearing about you. If you have a large budget or you work for a company running ads for them and you run it under their money, they may have money to run conversion ads to cold audiences. And that's the difference between having a lot of money and not having a lot of money. I really appreciate you guys all coming today. Thank you.